Everybody, we are super excited for tonight's call with Jamie Brown. Jamie is the vice principal at Holmdel High School, and he is also the founder of Accept You. He'll go into all of that more, but Jamie, I know your schedule is busy, and we are so grateful to have you here tonight, and we look forward to hearing what you have to say.
I'm excited to be here, 100%.
Awesome. I'm Carly Dietrich. I'm Tigger House Foundation's Addiction Navigator and Student Alliance Coordinator. And I always like to kind of bring it so it's just so real for what we're experiencing locally. I actually just read an article that a drug dealer in Long Branch sold to someone in Tinton Falls who overdosed and died. So it's happening daily. So that's kind of what I keep track of and what I'm aware of. I usually like to share like a little bit of something real that I'm dealing with. You know, I've been talking to someone who keeps reaching out to me every other day. I lose him for 4 days and then he gets back in touch with me. Right now he's a little bit MIA. Last I knew, he was at a hotel and someone offered him heroin. And I said, you know, I don't think you're hanging around the right people, and he just needs a place to stay. But you know, it's people, places, and things. So we kind of need to remember that. But it's right in front of us. So we just need to kind of remember that. And my whole thing right now around the holidays and really any day is turn around to the person behind you, in front of you, next to you, and just say, are you all right? Do you need anything? You never know what someone's going to tell you. So you know, as Tigger House Foundation and just being ingrained in our community, we all really have a lot to offer just by asking someone if they need anything. I get very emotional talking about this because it is so real and close to me and our community. So I just wanted to share that because what we do, all of us on this call have a passion for helping people and kind of spreading that message. So keep it up. Let's see. Michael, it's good to see you. I'll let Michaela introduce herself and then we'll come back, okay?
Hi guys, I'm Michaela. I work with kids with autism, but I kind of found you guys through my sister being in recovery. I'm very excited for tonight because my undergraduate research was actually in social emotional learning. So it's like going back home. So I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. We're happy to have you. Bart and Christina.
Go ahead. Hey guys, Bart Henderson here, chair of the ambassador committee, and you know, I love getting together, seeing everybody, and doing these talks every week to kind of give us a little more knowledge and different perspectives. So thanks for keeping them going and putting them together.
Awesome.
Hey guys, I'm Christina Henderson. I'm an ambassador here at Tigger House. I run Henderson Promos, promotional products company in Red Bank, and I'm Mrs. New Jersey this year. So I'm really excited to help nonprofits like Tigger House Foundation this year, help raise awareness and, you know, give back as much as possible.
Thank you. Michael, do you think you're up and running? Oh, I can't hear you. I'm sorry, but we're really happy to see your face. Kathleen, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Kathleen, and I go to Trinity Hall, and I'm a more new member of this. But yeah, I'm really excited.
Awesome. It's so great to see you. Thanks for joining us. Hi, Tess.
Hi. I go to Modern Day. I'm like kind of new, kind of not.
Uh-huh.
Come to a few Zoom calls, but some I can't come to because my manager at work keeps putting me on the schedule for days I don't even work, and I keep telling her I can't work those days, and she's like, "It's fine, we can make it work."
Oh my gosh, you're cracking me up. That's awesome. Tess, where do you work?
I work at Surf in Rumson. I'm a hostess.
That's great. I held many hostess jobs before. I
Me
loved
too.
being a hostess.
Yeah, I like it a lot actually.
That's great. Very cool. Well, we're happy to see you tonight. Thanks for joining.
Yeah.
Hey, Rich, how are you?
Hey guys, I'm doing well. My name is Rich. I'm part of the ambassador crew, and that's about it. I mean, I think I know most of everybody on this video already.
That's all I do in life.
Rich, you not cooking tonight?
No, that's why I had my video done. So you'll see it on Instagram later. I just posted it actually.
Okay, so,
So-
you're done cooking for tonight.
Yeah, I did a little Chinese food.
Nice.
Oh no, actually I'm not done cooking. No, I got Christmas cookies to make. I got a porchetta that I got to make. I got a lot of stuff that I got to make. I'm out of my mind right now. That's why I'm so tired. I'm done.
Rich is like, I'm never done cooking.
What's your favorite Christmas cookie to make?
Oh God. So there's a Spanish, because I'm part Spanish. There's a cookie called a mantecao. So it's actually a lard cookie. It's flavored with anise and a little almond extract. And it is crumbly. It is sinful. It is delicious with a cup of coffee. First thing in the morning, last thing that you eat at night. It is just out of this world.
Nice.
Although I am attempting to make pastel de notes, I think that's how you pronounce it. I forget. Portuguese, almost like a creme brulee in like a pastry cup. So that'll be the first time that I make it.
Send some this
Wow.
way.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
got you, no problem. I got you guys. So
Sounds amazing.
Sounds incredible.
thanks.
Mike, do you think you got it?
Oh.
No, not yet. It's okay. It'll come back. It'll come back when you least expect it. That's okay. Carla, did you want to introduce yourself or we're good?
Just say hello. I'm Carla from Tigger House.
Awesome. Hi, Bridget. We'll let her get connected.
Yeah, I'm just checking if there's anybody in the waiting room. So
Okay, cool. Hi, Bridget. How are you?
Hey,
You look awesome. I love your sweater and all the festiveness behind you. So cool.
well, I have to color my hair, so I just put a hat on,
Oh, stop.
and voila.
Looks awesome. Do you want to introduce yourself for us?
Sure. Hold on one sec. You can hear me?
Yeah, you're good. Go for
Oh,
it.
good. Okay. Hey, I'm Bridget. I am an ambassador for Tigger House. I'm sort of new at this, getting involved, and what else should I say?
That's it. We're super happy to have you. Thanks for joining.
Thanks.
And what do you think, Amy? We'll have Jamie kick it off?
Yeah, I know. I may have messed up the Zoom link. So Carla said there might be a second Zoom going on right now. So she's getting everyone to come onto this one. But I
Okay.
think, Carla, are we good? You want to get started?
I think we can get started, and I'm taping, so I think we'll be good. See
Okay.
if anybody's around in a waiting room and make sure they're in our link.
All right. I know Anna and Frankie were in the waiting room. Carla, I just don't know which Zoom.
Okay. I'll try and find them out.
All right. All right, Jamie.
All right. So before we get into anything, I wanted you guys to think about a time when you have gone through adversity and weren't sure how to get through it.
Uh-oh, we have an echo.
Oh, gosh, so many problems. Okay, hold on.
Might be Carla.
I think it's me.
Yeah, just mute, Carla.
Okay, is that better? I'm so sorry.
All good.
Yep.
We're
Okay.
good?
Yep.
Perfect. So everybody on the screen, I just want you to think about a time where you went through adversity, like you were going through something. It could be personal. It could even be right now if you're a student on here. But if you can think about something other than, this COVID experience where you were dealing with adversity and it really truly felt like there's no shot I'm getting through this. I have no idea how to work through this. I feel like I'm completely alone. I just want you to think about that moment for a second. You don't have to say it out loud, but whatever it was, whoever it incorporated, whoever it dealt with in your personal life. And I want you to try to attach an emotion to how you were feeling in that moment that made you uneasy or made you feel like you weren't going to be able to get through this. That could be fear, that could be anxiety, that could be isolation, that could just be depression, anger. And I bring that up because, especially for our students, in this meeting, in this call right now, I'm sure that's what you're feeling when it comes to COVID and, what some of our schools are calling COVID education right now and COVID schooling. Whether you guys are remote, hybrid, a little bit of both, have gone back and forth. I'm not sure, at your schools, what you guys have dealt with. And for those of us on the call that are either parents or have loved ones that are in a school setting right now, I think the common emotion and the common theme that we're all dealing with right now is just the uncertainty of what every single day is going to bring or not bring, for that matter. And for me, I was thinking about it over the last couple of days, knowing that I was going to talk to you guys. And I was thinking about when I was in high school. There was no COVID. We didn't have anything like this. This is completely brand new. But the emotions and the things that we've dealt with, all of us, no matter what in life, we've dealt with similar emotions, just under different settings. So the bad news is that whatever negative emotion you're feeling right now and struggling with when it comes to COVID, or whatever example you thought about in your head, for me, when I was some of your guys' age, when I was 16 years old, Mike, are you at CBA by chance? No, all right, because I know we had a CBA kid in here last week, right? That was on the call. So I went to CBA freshman and sophomore year of high school, and then I went to Red Bank Catholic my junior and senior year. My parents got divorced when I was a little kid. I was about 6 or 7. Came from a really, really tough background with my parents, mainly my father. He was abusive. He was an alcoholic. I had no idea how to deal with that when I was a kid. So when I try to think about how can I relate to what my kids are feeling now in Holmdel High School, that's the best I can do in terms of the emotions that I was feeling with them. And the point I want to make is that I didn't deal with them because I didn't have outlets. I didn't have go-tos. And I want to focus on that for you guys today, whether or not you're in school or whether or not it's all of our ambassadors here for Tigger. This is something that I hope you can all take. Michaela, you're in grad school right now and you're talking about SEL. This can be the best advice I can give all of you tonight in terms of moving forward and how to really take what you guys are doing so powerfully and apply it to no matter what student, no matter what adult, no matter what anybody, any group comes in and partners with you guys. Because what I didn't have was a go-to. I didn't know I had a go-to, I should probably say. But before I get to that, I didn't know how to deal with emotions. So right now, you guys all dealing with COVID differently, a little bit of the same. For me, I deal with it on a home level. I have a 6-year-old daughter who's in kindergarten for the first time and it's full day, full capacity. So she goes to school every single day. I have my wife who's on the front lines. She's works in a hospital, Riverview Hospital in Red Bank. COVID 3 days a week, she's in there, right? And then I'm at Holmdel High School as a vice principal. And we've been open since September. We've been in a hybrid model. And in January, we're going back full day, full capacity. So the emotions that I'm feeling are on a parent level, a husband level, and as a administrator trying to be there for my students level. And what I'm teaching them is how to feel the emotion that they're feeling in a given day, because it does change. One day you guys might come in and be angry. Another day you might come in and be sad. Another day you might be okay and be complacent. Another day you might be motivated and say, you know what, today's a good day. Everyone's in, everyone came into the building. It's all good. My teachers were in a good mood. We did something fun. It's the holidays coming up. On a normal day, that those range of emotions are hard to deal with. But I think right now it's super tough because we're not sure how we're supposed to deal with them. So I want to teach everybody on here a little trick that I've used, and it's called tensions of opposites. So if you take a rubber band and you stretch it and you pull it one way or the other, it's got tension, right? And pulls too much, at some point, this thing's going to snap. So right now, if you're feeling isolated because of COVID and you're a student right now, and maybe you're at home because you're fully remote or even just hybrid, or it's so inconsistent, and you're at home and you're quarantining, or you've had to quarantine, or your family feels like you should quarantine because you want to keep your loved ones safe, you want to keep your friends safe, you want to keep yourself safe. The everyday of not only school and having the brick and mortar of the building and just having that familiarity and the comfort of just seeing everybody being gone. I think it's the facet of feeling the isolation. Hey guys, feeling the isolation of just in the world too. It's like you watch the news, and by watching what people are going through around the world, you feel isolated. So that tensions of opposites, if we take that isolation emotion, if we don't deal with it, eventually that emotion's gonna get us to snap. When I was a kid, go back to my story as a high school at CBA, I was ready to snap because I didn't know how to deal with what I was feeling. Anger. I was so angry at the world. I just didn't know it. I saw my best friends who would take me in, take me to games with their family, take me over to their house for dinner, gave me a great life. I had my grandparents who raised me, a beautiful, beautiful life I got. But I was so angry and I didn't deal with it that I was hell bent on being jealous. I was hell bent on being frustrated and angry, and I kept it in. And I was that rubber band that was going to snap. And it wasn't until somebody taught me how to deal with the emotions by feeling it. So my advice to you to start this whole conversation about what you're feeling right now with how school is and your loved ones and what you're dealing with this situation is to feel the emotion. So if you're feeling isolated right now, if you're feeling like lonely, if you're feeling depressed, if you're feeling anxious because of this world, this pandemic, embrace the emotion. And you got to find a way to truly cope with it on your own at first. It might take you 2 or 3 days. It might be 30 minutes. It might be a walk on the beach. It might be putting your headphones on and listening to some music. Could be a whole week. It might even be a month. That's probably too long. But at some point, you have to do what I call detachment. You have to take that emotion and let it rest and say, okay, this is isolation. And this is the best advice I've been giving my students. And every type of emotion they're feeling right now towards their school year, especially, is there any seniors in high school on this call right now? No? For anybody, doesn't matter, is dealing with that emotion and saying, okay, this is isolation, this is anxiety, this is depression, this is loneliness, and truly embracing what it feels like. And if you need to be angry, scream at the mountaintops and let it all out. If you got to feel sad, cry and bawl your eyes out. It's kind of like, think about music, right? It's feeling an emotion. Like if I'm sad, I got that one song, REM, Everybody Hurts, if you know it, where I'm going to bawl my eyes out. And think about how stupid that is. It's like, I'm sad, but I want to be sadder. So I listen to a sad song. Like it makes no sense to me, right? If I'm angry, like I'm going to listen to the Rage Against the Machine, get so angry, get so hyped, that it'll make me angry. Rich knows what I'm talking about, right? He feels it. It makes no sense, but it does, because we're feeling the emotion. And once you feel that emotion, and if you guys can apply this to you, all my students here listening tonight, and you can feel that emotion, then you'll learn how to listen to suggestions on how to deal with it. And that's how you're going to get through this moment. You detach from it, and then the emotion doesn't control you, and you get it to go from almost snapping your world and breaking you to letting you feel a little bit calmer. So maybe if you're in school like us, we were hybrid, coming to school 5 days a week. 3 weeks ago, we had an outbreak. Out of nowhere, we got a call in the middle of the night. School's closed for at least 2 weeks. I had kids emailing me, I don't know how to deal with this. I need school. There's so many different variables of kids hated school. Now they wish they could be there every day. Kids who like school, enjoy being home, but now they're bored with it and want to see their friends again. Then I got, the undecorated students who kind of fly under the radar, that you guys help out a lot, that when they say they're going to be home, home's not home to them. It's the worst place they could ever be. So putting them in that position for 5 days a week, I worry about them every second of the day because school was on for them. So teaching kids how to detach and teaching adults as well how to detach from those emotions. The next time something like this comes up for our kids at Holmdel right now, if we have to go back on quarantine and they start to feel that anxiousness, now I can remind them, because we've gone through this exercise where they'll be prepared and they'll feel it coming on and say, okay, this is anxiety. This is being anxious. This is being angry. This is being depressed. This is being that feeling of isolated. And it won't control you. You will control it. And it won't be as scary the next time. And every time you learn to deal and cope with the emotion that way, you'll be able to listen to other people and you'll feel more comfortable trying to go to other people, which seems to be what Tigger is completely built on, being an outlet for people who don't know how to be their own outlet. And right now, you can't be too proud to admit that, especially for my students here, if you're struggling with what's going on in school. And that comes with finding the go-tos to get back to that part of the conversation. It's super important, especially for our ambassadors on this call tonight, you guys letting everybody here, every student that comes in here, really knowing that you are their go-to to help them. For my students on here, I want you guys to go to your buildings, go to your schools, and learn to take your voice that you're bringing here and create yourself to be a go-to for the kids who don't know how to advocate for themselves. Because that's what's going on in schools right now through this pandemic, is that students are struggling, at least I'm finding that as a vice principal, that students are struggling to find people they can talk to. Even though we have guidance counselors in a school, we can have a SAC counselor, a student assistant counselor. Some high schools, ours, we have a partnership with Rutgers and we have a behavioral therapist in school 5 days a week. It does not mean that A, students know they're there, and more importantly, B, even when they do, that they will go there. That's where you guys come in. Developing your student voice. I had a great conversation with Amy, and we were talking about, this feeling of adversity right now. It's so easy. When I was a teenager, I blamed everybody in the world for how I was feeling. I didn't take ownership. I didn't do anything to turn a negative situation into a positive until I was almost 30 years old. And now I look at my situation and I teach other students and other adolescents. I don't know what my dad looks like, but if I ever saw him and he walked down the street and introduced himself, I would say two things. One, thank you for showing me how not to be as a father. And thank you for showing me how not to be as a husband. It was the hardest part of my life, but I use it to make me better. This is what you guys have to do right now in this moment. You didn't ask for it, and that's what sucks about it. Looking at all my teenagers on here right now, you did not ask for this situation. My parents on here, you didn't ask for this for your kids. Everybody on here who has a loved one who's, possibly compromised or could be, we didn't ask for this. But if we're truly going to be leaders, whether that's in our classroom, on our club, or our sports team through Tigger, just in general, that's when you step up. What I was saying to Amy yesterday is it's very easy, and this is the hardest part for my students to understand. When things are going well, I run the student council, I run the National Honor Society, I run our peer leadership program. And we're all smiles all the time before this. Fundraisers, spirit events, battle of the classes, let's take selfies, at lunch, post them, go to the games, making posters for the seniors. It's all good. We're dabbing each other up. Everything's all hyped. And now some of them right now don't know what to do. Because now it's when you gotta grind and you gotta hustle and you gotta work. Michaela, you're talking about social emotional learning. That's when you are truly going to figure out, do you have it in you to help somebody? For all my students in here that want to be student leaders, this is the moment where you do it. You become what I call allies to adversity. You become friends with it and you accept it. You feel the emotions that you're feeling. You feel the emotions that your classmates, your friends, your teammates, your club members are feeling. And you listen to one another and you work through it. And what we did in our school, we went through feeling the emotions of anger, of confusion, of being honestly scared to death last March and April. Like, what the hell is this? Thinking it was going to be 2 weeks. Like, I packed a book bag and was like, cool, I'll be back in my office in 5 days and I'll grab my laptop. What was I thinking, right? And once I got past that and had the conversation and said, yo, like, this is confusion, anger, disappointment, hurt for my class of 2020 last year, and we detached from it, the narrative became, we can't waste any more time. It's a time of adversity. So it's like, when are you born? It's like fourth quarter all the time, 2 minutes to go. Let's go. Like, who's in the best shape and who's going to make it happen in crunch time? Who can I trust? And some of the best teachers came out of the woodwork. Some of my students, who I call the undecorated, don't have a varsity jacket, don't do student council, aren't on NHS, they don't have any highlights next to their name. They just go to school every day, and there's nothing wrong with that. They found a voice. They got motivated. And we created a couple things, and I'll kind of end it with this and share this with you guys. Is we created what we called celebrations. Michaela, you can steal this. Celebrations, SEL, abrasions. So we focused on the well-being of our student body, and we wanted to truly make sure that our class of 2020 didn't waste away their time and wish away their time. And the theme in my office on my door became reward versus regret. You can put in the time, you can hustle and grind and make the most out of adversity and gain a reward in your life, or you can cry about it, embrace the feeling of, well, this sucks. I didn't ask for this. I wish something else would happen, and wait for everybody else to make something, out of nothing. And then wish you were that person and regret everything. And I'm going to be honest, that's where my senior class was. And I don't blame them, because it was something so new and so taboo. They weren't ready for it, and they shouldn't be at that age. But we banded together, and here's what we came up with. And for your class of 21s, or if you have 8th graders in a middle school in your school district, and you want to truly be student leaders and you want to break it down to them, or even your preschoolers in your kindergarten, this is where our vision came from. We created our celebrations, SEL celebrations. We did a couple of things. One of the best things that we did is we created what we called a car and gown ceremony. So since everybody, all you guys were all out since March 13th, we weren't in the building. We got together, I put an email out to all the teachers, and I said, yo, listen, we are going to do something for these seniors, because all the parents at that point, by like the middle of May, Memorial Day, they were like, what can we do? Everyone was looking for somebody to help. And that's the beauty of it. It wasn't about money. It was about time and being personal and authentic and intentional in your actions to do something selfless for someone else. So we created this car and gown ceremony. If you don't have anything like this, do this, and you will see your school district, your high school, your 8th grade class, like at your middle school, go nuts. And we got all of our caps and gowns hand delivered to our school. We have 265 seniors last year that graduated. I put an email out. I said, any teacher wants to help us, here's the date. We're going to go door to door, every single senior in our senior class, and we're going to hand them their diploma and make it feel like they're walking across the graduation stage. Because at that point, we didn't even know if we were going to be able to be outside and do a graduation handoff, a diploma handoff. Everyone told me I was nuts, saying no one's going to volunteer their time, they're not getting paid for it, blah, blah, blah. We got about 130 teachers. About 95% of them showed up. The other 5% were either quarantining, couldn't come out because they had to look out for their loved ones who needed to be self-quarantined, or they were not physically around to do it. Other than that, it was full participation. We ended up taking this to a whole nother level, because it started building steam, because it just takes one person, right? Once you get on the bus, you start the engine and people see it. They didn't have to be the first person to come up with the idea, because maybe that's not their leadership style, which is okay. But I want to be a leader. Then you started seeing people follow, and that bus started getting filled real quick. And ultimately, we went from taking a bus to everyone's going to carpool to having 100 teachers to where we formed teams of 4. We had 2 cars each. We took about 10 students each. And then it became, well, we can't just show up in our cars. We got to decorate our cars. So then we started decorating our cars. And then it was like, Jamie's car is more decorated than Carla's car. So then everyone started having this decoration war. And then the PTSA got involved and said, well, yo, you guys are decorating cars. We can't do it. So we're going to come and bring you guys breakfast in the morning. We're going to make swag bags for the seniors and you hand them out. And it became this domino effect of everybody coming together as a community. And that's the end goal. That's how you survive this pandemic as a school, as a student leader. You bring the community together however you can, because you're all in this together and you all feeling it together. It's not going to make the pandemic go away, but you'll control it. It won't control you, at least in the building. And ultimately what happened is we delivered 260 cap and gowns. We rolled up. I mean, I'm a 90s hip hop guy. I'm 40 years old. So, I mean, I had Velvet DeVoe blasting, right? I had it just crushing and I'm hanging out the sunroof. I'm fist pumping because I'm from the Jersey Shore like everybody here. And I'm brand new to the district. So I just started last year. So they don't even know me. So these kids are like, dude, this dude is crazy. Why did we hire this guy? Why is he working for me? Like, how is he in charge of my child? And then they all came out. And first couple people were nervous. Then everyone's tweeting it out. We're taking selfies. We're blasting it out on Twitter, Instagram. We're taking videos. Then that became the competition. We're using the hashtag Holmdel Proud, HOMEDEL, Holmdel Proud. And now that's our theme for this year, is Holmdel Proud. It became something that was infectious. It became t-shirts and everyone was tweeting it out. So when we got to the next house, it was like, oh, Jamie, I saw that you did this with Chris's house. Now we got to do this. And then grandma's coming out, the dog's out here, my uncle, my neighbors. I got kids came out in their uniforms. Cheerleaders are doing cheer stunts. And it was nutty, but they're still talking about it. They're still hitting us up on Twitter and saying, class of 21's got nothing on us. We crushed it. And they don't talk about the pandemic, the class of 2020. They talk about how they ended their high school career. And we created a yearbook for them virtually, ironically, no pun intended, that nobody can take away from them. And we couldn't end it there. So the next celebration we did was the PTSA now wanted full partnership in it because they appreciated that we were bringing something to their kids. So we ordered yard signs with everybody's picture on it, right? And we created graduation row going up our bus lane at the high school. Had 130 on one side, 130 on the other. We got the police involved. We got the fire departments. We got all of the EMTs and paramedics in our community. They blocked off the entire town. We mapped out about a 2-mile roadmap to hit all 4 of our schools. We have 2 elementaries and a middle school and our high school. And they paraded them through town. So all the seniors with their families, decorate your cars, hang out the windows, meet us at Bell Works in Holmdel. If you're familiar with it, that was our starting launch point. 200 cars, 50 police cars, 4 fire trucks, 5 EMT trucks. We went all throughout town, and it ended going up the bus route one last time to the senior parking lot. And all of the teachers, all the parents who couldn't be in the cars, grandparents and stuff, we were on both rows of the grass. So it was their, graduation walk. We had Pomp and Circumstance playing. We had a hip hop version, so it was dope. And it was just something that, again, these kids completely remembered. And when they were done, it doesn't end there. You get the keepsake again. It was another swag bag where the kids were able to get out of their cars, do another loop, come back, take their sign. They got a memento for the family. They took a picture next to it. And we created a graduation ceremony, not knowing if we were going to have one. Couple of simple things. All it took was 2 things: time and effort. And it led to buy-in. And once that was over, we found out we were able to have an outdoor ceremony. So we typically have ours at Brookdale. That couldn't happen because of the numbers. So we decided to have it on our football field. Same type of effort, same type of commitment, made it socially distanced. We had 2 ceremonies. Everyone got to walk across the stage. We made sure that family members were able to see it. And again, we had something in the parking lot where they could take a picture and a memento and say what's up to all of us one last time. And the beauty of it all is when we were done, the principal of my school, my boss, my superintendent, the Board of Education president said, can't wait to do this next year. And that was it. I guess my point is that if you could figure out how to detach from an emotion that's controlling you in a negative way and learn to take something positive out of it, you can become a better person than you were before. You can let people in who will make you a better person than you were before. And ultimately, you can help other people become better versions of themselves. And I'm proud to say that I feel like I played some little part in that for last year's class. And I know we're going to do that for this class this year. In the meantime, what we're going to start doing in January, and this is something all you guys, you know, Trinity, Mater Dei, whatever school you're at, start using social media. It's your world. It's what you guys do every single day. The big thing that we've been doing and what we did from March until May, until we came up with that idea, was we just created challenges every single week, Twitter and Instagram. Create a hashtag that takes on a theme that symbolizes your school, your mascot, you know, some motto that you guys have, and create challenges that brings everybody together. We started off with show me your virtual classroom, show me what you know what your room looks like. Kids started taking simple pictures of them in front of the laptop, and then again that got crazy where they had to build this Holmdel Hornets mecca like desk workshop to try to win a gift card to Dunkin' Donuts. And then it became, you know, lunch with the principal when we get back to school, swag bag for college for our seniors. And then we started doing, you know, virtual battle of the classes. We started doing pet tricks. You got one day, show me a trick with your pet, bring mom and dad into it. Show me the most awkward family photo, just having fun with it and trying to take people out of the element of like, feel sorry for me and us and our school and what we're going through and making it school. It's just a different setting. It's not what we want. It's not what you asked for, but it's what you got right now. And I hate to see any of you guys on here who are in high school look back in June, whether or not you're graduating, even if you're going to come back next year and say, damn, I wish I had 6 more months to get back from January to June and would have done some of this stuff to hype up my classmates to make it a good year. Because there were some seniors, and I'll be honest with you, who didn't buy into it. Just said, I'm done with this. This is stupid. It's never going to catch on. I'm not into it. Didn't go to the cap and gown ceremony. Didn't do the graduation parade. Didn't go to graduation. Just said, mail me my diploma. You don't want to be that kid. I promise you that. I don't mean that word disrespectfully. Because those are the kids, those are the students, when I talk to them, they actually apologize to me. Say, B, I'm sorry. I didn't buy in. I didn't know who you were. I didn't believe in this. I thought it was going to be stupid. I wish I would have listened to you. And that doesn't make me happy. I don't want to hear that. It makes me sad. Even just talking about it right now, I get choked up. Don't be that person ever. That's a great life lesson. When you're faced with adversity, become an ally to it. Run through it head on, but don't do it alone. For all you students on here tonight, go back to the drawing board. Start small. Start small. What can you do over break that can start building the buzz in your school to get kids to say, even if we're remote, even if we go remote and we're already in the building right now, but it still doesn't feel the same because we're hybrid, whatever it is, what can you do to start building the buzz and making it talk about the community, making it talk about you guys being one school? Even start with your class. If you're on a team, start with your team. If you're in a club, start with your club. Someone's got to step up and be the leader, and then I guarantee you everybody will follow. And then it won't matter if we're virtual. It won't matter if you're hybrid. It won't matter if you're back full day, but it still doesn't feel the same because some people aren't coming back. It won't matter. And whatever you create, you make sure that you include everybody. That's my last piece of advice. Social inclusion is the number one rule for me, because that's all about being kind, being respectful, accepting everybody. So if you are virtual, if you're hybrid, a little bit of both back and forth, whatever you guys create, especially like those social media things, make sure everybody has an opportunity to participate so nobody feels left out. Because there's definitely somebody that you know right now that probably hasn't told you that's feeling so alone and struggling with this moment, where just by creating some silly challenge on Twitter just might make them get through the day. I appreciate you guys so much. I love what you guys got going on here, and just giving me the blessing to be a part of it and show me the respect and listening. I really, really do appreciate it, and I hope I can help you. And if there's anything you guys need, all you guys in all your schools, all your high schools, Carla's got my stuff, Amy's got my stuff. They can give it to you. You can reach it out. And if you're looking for just daily inspiration, ideas and stuff, I'm all over social media. It's my thing. I'm VP underscore J Brown on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, the whole nine. But I know you guys are, I'm not on TikTok. I can't do it because I can't really dance that well. So I haven't like gotten the nerves to go over to that world. I don't do Snap yet either. But Insta and Twitter, follow me. I usually post a daily video. It's either like a positive quote. I have a bunch of back and forth with teachers all across the world, high school students across the country, asking for things, giving out lessons, icebreakers, team building stuff, ideas to do with your school. So please reach out. And again, just thank you for letting me be a part of something so powerful and so meaningful. It's helped me. I got to be honest, meeting some of you guys and talking to you guys over the last 2 weeks, you guys have kind of lit a spark under me. I was getting very complacent too, because we just didn't have any kids, and it's real easy to fall into that rut of just going through the motions and just same thing. It's almost Christmas time, wishing away the time. And, normally I would have probably walked in today doing the same thing, but having a conversation with some of your leaders the last 48 hours, it had me motivated this morning. So I had a really productive day, and I feel like I might have helped change a student's life today. And I thank you guys for that, because you made me go to school in the right mindset. So thank you.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. We're so lucky, I think, to have had you come on, because it's such a different perspective from what we've had before. And I think so many things you said are so inspiring. This is awesome. This is great. I think we could even do some of this. We're not a school, right? Tigger House isn't a school, and we have kids from all different schools. But we kind of made our own family here, and we even have our own social media and stuff. So I definitely think that this is something we can do ourselves, and then each of the students can take it to their own schools, because I love so much of what you're saying.
Thank you.
So we're going to share, if it's okay, a lot of your contact information, your social media, and I encourage our students to kind of start getting it out into their own schools.
Yeah, 100. And I would tell you guys, through Tigger on social, that's an easy way to start, is just get known for something that you brand on social that's positive. So when people hear about you or come across you on social, they're like, oh yeah, that's the foundation that does the positive quote every day, or every week they put out that video that's just talking about, a mental health tip, something to that effect. That I think the beauty of what you guys are doing, and what all our student ambassadors listening on this call right now, or a part of this, can be a part of, is that you're going to be helping people, and you already are, and you don't even know it. That's the amazing journey of this, is a lot of the times you have no idea who you're helping, and that's what social media should be used for. That's what it can be used for. And for all of you students here, please, that's the message. I'll never tell anybody not to use social media. It's cliche as cliche can be, and it would be me lying to you. Just because I'm a high school vice principal, I'm supposed to tell you don't go on social media. Like, it's not real. It's the world. I'm on it every day, so I'd be a hypocrite. Use it to brand yourselves in a positive fashion. Use it to empower your voice for pro-social change in terms of inclusion. That's my word. Inclusion, inclusion, inclusion. And it's just very simple formula, no matter which way you do it, through videos, quotes, posts, taping Zooms and posting them online, whatever. Just to have it be personal, authentic, intentional, built on kindness. And people will listen. People will catch it. People will join in, and people will embrace it.
Jamie, what I think is really interesting, and is that we're all different ages, but I feel like the pandemic has really brought us all together to feel a lot of the same emotions. Even though, we're not in high school, some who are on the call are in high school, or, we're all very different, but I feel like we're all on the same field. I really do feel like it's brought everyone together.
I agree, and I think it's opened up the vulnerability and humility for the adults, right? To say, wow, like now I can actually relate to, I'll just say Mike, who's, in high school, like I can talk to Mike, or you're not in high school, but he's a little bit younger than me, right? Like if I'm looking at Mike and I could say, oh, he's saying, oh, I'm struggling with this right now because, me and my aunt, she's compromised, so I can't go outside right now because she's staying with me. I can relate to that. I don't have to be, in my teens or in my 20s and talk to a high school or college kid. And it's amazing. I had that's what I was referring to this morning when I was talking to a student. It was just them opening up to me, and I'm sitting here talking to a 16-year-old. He is a kid to me, right? Like I could be his dad, and we're having a similar conversation, talking about the same emotions and the same fears of what this pandemic is bringing to our house, to our home, to our family. And we are on the same playing field, and that's what's scary about it. But that's why if you guys embrace each other, and again, that's what you guys have on this.
Yeah, we're all together. We're all experiencing the same thing, but differently, of course. But what else I really like is that, and I'm experiencing this in my job, holiday party. Usually you're like, can't do it, can't have it, not happening. But you know what? Your whole message is you can do it, but you're going to do it differently this time. And I love how you're like talking about play on words. My coworker and I were like going back and forth. What are we going to do? How are we going to get people energized? Because you have these great ideas. You don't have to be in person. He said, let's do home for the holidays and let's do a celebration. We were like, oh my God. And now we're wearing Christmas hats and holiday sweaters on the call, and there's going to be a gift, and this whole thing is blowing up, right? It's taking off. And you can do this for birthdays, for those of you in high school, for a friend that's celebrating something. I mean, we can make it happen. And that's kind of what Jamie's telling us. You can still do all of this, but it's just going to look different for a little bit. But Jamie, I don't think you're going to get away with not doing what you're doing every year, even if we're not in the pandemic. What you're doing should carry on forever.
And that's the beauty of it, right? Because again, like if we didn't embrace the adversity of it, like in our school district, we would have just went through the motions, ultimately probably found out we could do an outdoor ceremony, and we would have done it, and we would have been like, oh, that was great. We got through, we made it happen for the kids. But if you don't take advantage of opportunity, it's just, you become stagnant,
I mean, there's new traditions being developed. People are celebrating different types of, we just have to think outside the box, and you don't need to do this alone. If anyone has an idea, bring it to one of us on the call. We can talk about it. We can make it happen, differently.
Hey, Carly, Sal had a good idea last week, actually, that he told me after the call. And it's that, we want to start using the Student Alliance to get different messages out on social media. So even during these calls, we should just, if you can, in the chat, everybody throw in your Instagram name right here in the chat, so that we're able to start to collect
good idea.
Instagram names from everybody.
Oh, good.
And you guys said that your new house is in Red Bank?
Yes.
Right? What I saw some school do that was really, really cool was over the last 2 weeks, they've been using social to promote local. So it was like they did like hashtag love local, and they just had their student body, like whatever their clubs were in the school. I don't even know, because I didn't know the school. It was just someone I was talking to and just caught it and joined in a little bit. They were just taking turns repping like their local stores and just showing them love because they're struggling so much. And you talk about,
love that.
Yeah, just going like on a different angle of the box and thinking that way and bringing the community in, now that school's made a name for themselves in the community. So when this is over, or even during it, they're creating opportunities to partner up. So now the next time they go and ask that bagel shop that they were shouting out yesterday, hey, listen, we're doing a fundraiser. You guys want to be a part of it? It's no questions asked. They're going to be a part of it, and then So again, there can be silver linings, and doesn't all have to be school, like student to student related. It can go different angles. And I think that's, that's kind of where we got buy-in from all of the underclassmen in our school during March, April, and May, is that we did something like that, but we focused on frontline heroes. Like we just said, basically, like, let's shout out our heroes. And that's kind of how we started and ended the week on social. And everybody was just doing their own thing. And it even trickled down to like the elementary school parents, where the kids were doing like the chalk walks, taking a picture and tweeting it to us. And we were sending it out to the hospitals and stuff. So, there's a million different angles. It's a great lesson to teach the older students, how to put in effort and like grind and hustle a little bit and make something out of nothing, because a lot of these kids are leaders. They just don't know how to do it on their own.
Jamie, that's something that I really love that you talked about, which is not letting this be wasted dead time, right? And that goes for the adults on this call too. I mean, if you've got a job, now you're not commuting back and forth sometimes. So you've got an extra, hour, 2 hours, 3 hours in your day to go do whatever your dream is. If you wanted to, know an instrument or something. But my question to you is, for some of the students who you've heard, and I forget the term that you used that for what you were calling it, but what are some examples that other students can take away of good uses of time, that they're doing right now?
To help other people?
You said you were calling it like celebrations.
Celebrations. So SEL stands for
So like, what are some examples of things that your students are doing now with this time that they're effectively using the time, I guess, for other students on this call?
So the next one we're going to have doing is like, we want to bang the new year with focusing on the class of 21, just to get them motivated, because being at the high school, we feel like if we start with them, everybody will follow suit, right? Like they drive the bus at the high school level. So what we're going to do is we're going to roll out something called the Blackjack Challenge. So it's going to be 21 challenges on social media, where it's going to be like, take a 30-second video of you showing empathy towards somebody else that you don't know. Do something nice for a teacher in the building, reach out to a frontline worker and tweet it out, those kinds of things. And we're calling it the Blackjack Challenge because it's for the class of 21. And everybody who joins in, again, we're going to use the same hashtag. So all of the parents in the community and in the school can follow along and see everything kind of fall into that photo album. And every student that participates, they'll get their name thrown into a raffle and they're going to win 2 free prom tickets. So it's a little bit of both, like, massaging both worlds, but that's something where in a high school where you can do something like that for each grade level, where it's almost like creating a kindness challenge, random acts of kindness paid forward kind of stuff. But I feel like everybody's talking right now about 2020 needs to be done and like over with and buried. So I'm focused to jump into January on revitalizing school culture. I think that's like imperative before we can go any further and start getting into like the fun celebration stuff that can really cultivate and elevate where the schools end up. I think something that will boost the morale for buy-in. That's like the goal for all you guys, is just buy-in in January. So after that, there's so many things that are coming up March, April, May, where a lot of schools will probably be at least hybrid anyway. So you will have kids in the building, where I think it'll be a lot easier to do some sorts of celebrations that can be in and out of house, if that makes sense. So I would start with social, because you can do that over the break and get the buzz going. So that's the mindset moving into the building on the 4th of January, hoping that at least you're back half capacity, where maybe it's something that can trickle back into the building and then start getting the teachers involved and that sort of thing. And once you get past that, I really think it's important for all the kids to be involved in some sort of celebration that's bringing the community in, because that's where everyone's struggling. Like we all said and agreed, this isn't a student thing. This isn't a teacher thing. It's not an adult thing. It's the world. Like everybody, we're all on the same playing field with the pandemic. So I think if you can bring community outreach into anything, it's a home run for a life lesson for these students, where they're going to take something they can't learn in a textbook.
Awesome. Does anybody have, excuse me, does anyone have any questions for Jamie or any more questions or comments? Anyone's brains thinking about what they could do in their schools? I'm talking to Kathleen, Frankie, Tess, Anna. Anyone thinking of something? No.
I know in my school we just did SAB elections, which is the student advisory board. So it's just like a bunch of us run for different like things to be in charge of. So I ran to do the social chair and I fortunately won. So I get to plan like homecoming and prom, and I get to help plan like the graduation ceremonies and stuff. And I know my one really good friend won for the academic chair. So we're gonna like work together to try and get stuff for our senior year because I'm a junior right now. So we're trying to get like, I have to wear a uniform and they took away the skirts. We get to wear the first and fourth marking period skirts because they're like lighter and they're like light blue and they're really pretty. But our principal took them away, so we're trying to get them back as like a senior privilege for next year for us, and we're trying to let us paint our parking spots next year because they didn't let the seniors do it this year or last year because of COVID. I'm not really sure how that can affect painting a parking spot, but we're trying to get that to come back, and we're trying to get the seniors this year to have like an outdoor prom at like one of the beach clubs so they can still have one. But that's all I know that we're trying to do.
Great stuff.
Yeah,
And
congratulations on winning.
Thank you.
That's great.
But that's a great opportunity, that leadership role, you know, to take some of the stuff that Jamie was saying and really involve your school, the teachers, the administrators. You know, obviously people look up to you in your class and in your school. And I mean, great opportunity.
Tess, what school are you at?
I go to Mater Day.
Nice. So you're small enough where, I mean, how many are in the senior class next year? Like under 100?
In my grade, there's only like 80 or 90 of us.
Yeah. So we did the parking space painting this year for the first time at Holmdel. And the same thing, we were having the problems with like everyone was worried about COVID and being able to keep everybody socially distanced, and you know, the fear of that was like the first weeks we came back to school. So if you have only like 85 students that are in the senior class at Mater Day, working with SAB, that could be something where you guys talk about creating like a whole week of doing it, where if you number the parking spaces for the seniors, so everyone has a designated parking space, which they would because they'd be painting their own space, you know, doing it over a 5-day period where there's only like 20 people doing it and you go every 5 spaces. So, you know, on day 1, it'd be like parking space 1, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So they're socially distanced 6 feet apart. You do it after school hours from like 3 to 4 o'clock, and you'd have like the SAB advisor volunteer to be there with you guys. So you're being supervised. And then obviously if you guys agree to like, you know, get your own materials, buy your own materials and clean up after yourselves, that kind of thing, that would probably go a long way if you pitch that to is it Ms. Seraphin? Is she still the principal there?
Yeah, she is, but she doesn't, as of what I know, Miss Cahill, who's been there for like literally forever, she gets like final call on all of the senior stuff, and she's in charge of SAB, and she loves like my friend group and everyone who's doing SAB. So if we're like pretty sure she's gonna say yes because we asked her about it today, and she said that we can do it like the 2 weeks before we go back to school because that's when the seniors get their assigned spots, because we can pick if we have like the first 2 rows or if we have like the last 3 rows. So we told her that we could do like I'm pretty sure there's like 5 or 6 parking spots in each row. So we could do like 2 in the first row and then 2 if you skip a row, 2 in the back row. And then we can alternate like that and you just get like an hour and a half time to come paint it. And then if you need more time, you can just come in another day.
Nice.
Because it's not like we're like on top of each other because we're outside anyway.
Usually it's the fear of the mess. The painting mess you guys will leave.
Yeah, I guess so.
Well, what I'll do is I will share with maybe Amy or Carla or one of you guys what we handed out to the seniors to get it done. So the guidelines, it'll really help you, and you can bring this to your SAB advisor and be like, yo, I made this. I'm really organized and I have an idea, and it had all the rules and regulations on how we were going to make it work to make sure everybody felt safe about it. So I'll share that with you guys and you guys can pass it on to Tess and just
Awesome.
just tell your advisor you created it.
Okay, thank you.
That's great.
No doubt.
Awesome.
Mhm.
And I do, Jamie or Mr. Brown had mentioned all of his social media handles, and I do follow him, and his posts are awesome, whether you're a school administrator or just an everyday person like me or a student. I do recommend everybody follow him, and we'll send an email out after this, giving you guys all his information. I know he wrote in the chat the Accept University website address, but we'll send all of that out to everybody. Does anyone have anything else to say or comment on?
Thank you.
I go to Trinity, and I know, well, my school is like a lot smaller, so it's a little different from going to like a normal public school, but I know we're doing things like, well, I know the seniors, they didn't paint their spots, but they did get to paint their cars, and they did stuff like that. And we also do like little things like when we have opens, like we can make we're making like fleece blankets to donate to like homes, and also we're making cards for like the holiday season. And we also have a tree where you can take a tag and then donate toys to people who need them. And we're also just doing like little things like that. And around Halloween we painted pumpkins and stuff like that. So we have like councils that organize it, but I know we're just doing a lot of things like that. And then we could me and Anna were thinking that we could like try to spread the word about Tigger House to like raise awareness for it and let our like classmates and peers know about it and see if they'd like to join.
Awesome. Very cool.
Great.
Awesome.
This was awesome. I feel like, Jamie, you gave us so much inspiration to think about our own group and different things that we could be doing. Because I agree with you that sometimes during this whole time, we just got caught in our own little boxes and just didn't really see outside of that and just thought, well, we'll have to wait. We'll have to wait. We can't do this now. And I think that some of tonight, and I definitely hear it because our students sound like their minds are running as fast as ours now, are just thinking about things that we can do. Right? Things that we can do now. We don't have to wait. It's not everything's terrible now, but it's going to be better. Let's take control of it.
Absolutely. And don't, I guess my last piece of advice with that too, Carl, would be for all you guys, no matter what school you're at or what school you're working with, is it doesn't have to be massive either. That's always the misconception. Like whether it's with like a senior event, a fundraiser, charity work, service learning project, it doesn't have to be like over the top extravagant, like all in or nothing. Like you can still just simply start so small by just saying, hey, who wants to talk once a week during lunch and just say how we're feeling. That's how I started to get, students at Holmdel, since I just started there in August, comfortable with me. I just said, yo, I'll be in the auditorium. We have like block scheduling. So before this happened, we had a unit lunch. So the whole school ate for an hour. And I just said, anybody who wants to talk about life, seniors only, just to get to know them, I'm in the auditorium. And it went for 2 weeks of nobody and all my colleagues laughing at me saying like, look at the new guy, to one kid, 3 kids. And right before we went to COVID, I had 65 seniors on my last meeting and we had no agenda. And then they started emailing me or writing to me saying, can we talk about college roommates? Can we talk about peer pressure? Can we talk about divorce? And someone's got to start it, but start small and usually it ends up big. So don't sell yourself short and say, oh, this won't be any, it'll only be 3 of us. Who cares? I mean, looking right here, we got 13 of us and the 14 of us, and the impact this conversation's having on all of us is tremendous. We're all going to take this back and, weave it into our own worlds tomorrow, however we see fit. And it'll make a massive impact because, the beauty of what you guys are doing is that you don't know who you're helping, but you're usually helping somebody. And that's why you do it. You don't do it for the name in the paper. You don't do it for the recognition. You do it just to be selfless and just know that if you do the good work, you are going to help somebody. And right now, I think it's as simple as just talking like we're doing, just feeling safe and having a trusted space to be open and honest and be vulnerable. I can guarantee you that's what my kids at Holmdel need right now more than anything. Is just to know that they're not alone and hear that out loud and be okay with that. Same with my teachers. Again, it's not just a student thing, it's an adult thing too.
Jamie, last night, Jamie and I had a call together and you had said something at one point and it really resonated with me that we're writing history right now. What we're going through, we are going to be telling our children and our children's children that we lived through this pandemic. And that's a whole nother way to look at it. How are you going to tell your kids you survived the pandemic? Were you all down and out the entire time, ho hum, where this is never going to end, I'm going to sit inside all day? Or are you going to turn it around and do something with it, reach out to people, start something, start some movement. And that really resonated with me. I'm so focused on just getting through my day, right? I have 2 children. I'm focused on making sure they get their stuff done. They're staying on task. I have a full-time job. I need to make sure I stay on task. I also have to clean my house, do my laundry, do the dinners, all of that. But when you put it to me like it last night, like we are writing our own history. Like, yeah, there's such a more bigger picture here than today. And I just wanted to repeat it because maybe it'll strike a chord with other people on the call as well, because it certainly did for me last night.
I appreciate that, and again, it's the truth. It really is. And there's no other way to, I don't want to say sell it to no matter what school everyone's at or wherever you guys are at individually, but we are rewriting history. I have a 6-year-old daughter who, when she's in high school, she's going to read a chapter in her history iPad or whatever the technology is in that era. She'll be reading about the pandemic of 2020. It's fact, right?
Yeah.
And again, when we talk about what Carla's saying, where you don't have to go large scale with rewriting the history, just give the pen a pulse, metaphorically, and get to work. So, for example, for me, it was like, I'm going to stop watching as much TV and I'm going to start reading again. It was that simple. It was like, all right, when I figured out like we're remote till June, my wife's like, do something with yourself, get off the couch. And I'm like, all right, cool, I'll go sit in a chair, but I'm going to put a book in my hand. And I read a couple of books, and I haven't done that for leisure in decades, like you're saying, because it's like my world's like, I got to get up at 6:30 to give my daughter Cinnamon Toast Crunch. And if I don't, I'm screwed. And I got to remember to move the elf, right? Like that's my world right now. So like, it's very simple to rewrite history, but you don't want to be the one person who's not on any of the pages because you didn't do anything. And that's what I'm telling my kids every day. It can be small, but be a part of the recording.
Yep.
Right. Awesome.
I could talk to you guys all night. I'm Italian. I'm a talker in general, so I love this.
Well, I definitely know that this is not the last we're going to see of you. We would love to have you come back and we'll talk more about that. But truly, we know your schedule is busy, and we really appreciate you taking the time tonight to talk to everyone. And it was just great, Jamie.
Well, thank you. Thank you, everybody. Seriously, thank you for having me. And don't be shy. Hit me up if you need anything. All my students on here, please reach out, ask me questions, ask me for help. If you're trying to get a project done, a service learning project, anything, I want to help you guys. This is why I do this. I love doing it. So, and most importantly, I would love to be a part of something that you guys do out in the community when opportunity presents itself, more importantly.